Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Mental Toughness and Body Show. My name is Rob Evans, and I am the 1% coach. And today I'm really excited because we've got a very special guest, Billy Boss, and she's from the Billy Boss Show. And we're going to have a tremendous conversation around what she has set herself as a big challenge this year from a health and fitness perspective. But well, you would think that on the outset, but it's really a mindset game. And really just to talk about in the areas that we both coach, that where we find people get stuck when it is that they set themselves a big challenge and it's like, well, why is it not happening? What's happening behind it to prevent people from actually taking that first step. So let's get into it. And Billy, welcome to the show. It's good to have a conversation with you again.
Again, yes. Well, thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be part of your show, to join you on this journey and yeah, just share some insights that might actually empower other people to do similar, if not the same or better. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. So why don't we share with people what your running goal is for this year? Because it's a big one.
It is big one, and yes, straight to the goals. And what's for this year? Well, for me, for this year, it's few marathons. So up till this stage, I actually have ran 7 marathons, full marathons, and there is like so many half a marathons. But for this year, in 1 year, I actually set myself to do 3 full marathons. And at this stage, there is only one half a marathon that I have locked in, but which doesn't mean that more will be coming up. But I think for those full marathons, I really had to get into it to secure my spot. And somehow for the last 2 years, I haven't been lucky to get into full marathons. This year, it looks a little bit brighter for me. So I'm really excited for this journey as well.
So on a day-to-day basis, you're a life strategist. And obviously you love running, but you'd normally, correct me if I'm wrong, you'd normally do say one full marathon a year. Is
Yes.
that's it? So let's start with why four? So why four? Also, well, three half and one full one, and why this year?
Well, I think there is no any reason why this year. I think it just sort of happened for me to, or maybe on a subconscious level, it could have been that, okay, this year it's something different, maybe subconsciously change something. And I find that when we are setting ourselves for something, you really also need to be aligned with that outcome. On some levels prepared, but there are so many things that we don't know what's going to happen. So why this year? As I said, it could have been something on subconscious level that it sort of tapped me to say, okay, let's challenge myself. And for me, I like to go back and I now love running. I now love running, but it didn't start with me being a lover of running. In fact, I was actually told many years ago that to avoid running, that I will never be a runner as, everyday runner, like, normal sort of thing throughout the day, but it's not, I never actually wanted to be a professional runner. So
Hmm.
doctor said at some stage to me, Billy, you will never be able to run. There was so many physical things with my knees and everything. So it was by all means avoid everything that it actually involves running. So I did not start as love for running. I actually wanted to challenge myself if I can actually improve myself in any type of form of running, any distance. Never back in the day have I thought, okay, one day I'm actually going to be a marathon runner, because at that stage was not possible for me even to think, let alone to do it. So I think progressively, as I was actually changing my way of the thinking about running, the change of some certain things within myself, how I would actually approach my life and healing of my own self as well, inbuilt imprinted patterns of me. So as I was healing other parts of me, I was actually changing my mind, and I actually started challenging myself. And it didn't even start with one marathon. per year, it actually really started with 500 meters in a day if I can do it, if I can do 3 kilometers a week. And that progressively started to grow. So it was just one little thing at the time. And running has such a different meaning to me this day, like today, and the 3 marathons this year that I'm going to join and run. And it's not about being a runner, it's not about being recognized for running or fitness goals or anything. For me, it's actually mindset, it's my mental goal, it's my inner safety that brings me, it's my time with me. And it also brings so much emotional turmoil, I would say, from being so happiness and joyful that I can do it to going back to why I'm doing, why have I started to do
Mm.
running. So it has many emotional things that it's brought through that run. So and I feel like this year I can actually take longer runs, more emotional challenge. And I also feel that this challenge always actually benefits me in my not just personal journey for myself, but also
Mm.
what I share with other people as well to challenge themselves, to set the higher goals, achievable goals, because we are required to be someone who we haven't been before to achieve new goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's very impressive. You said something there, um, if I could dig into that a little bit. You said inner safety.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell us a bit about that.
Yes, I think yeah, I remember from our couple of previous conversations we sort of touched a little bit on my childhood and the way how I have been brought up, and certainly coming from the abusive childhood. And there are so many people that they have gone through something in their life that they made the meaning of something to themselves, whatever that meaning is. So for me, coming from the childhood trauma, for me, it was like always being on edge, uncertainty, love never was shared, any of these things. So for me to survive through that period of my life, I really did not have inner safety. So we create different patterns in our lives, uh, whether it's people pleasing, procrastination, perfectionism, all the patterns that we call them bad habits. They are actually protective system. They are our patterns that sort of helped us to go through next level. So at the time, I did not know that I did not have any inner safety. I just thought life meant to be that way. But you actually come at some stage in your life and you feel like when you actually start to dig deeper, where we don't really like to go. We
Mm.
don't like to dig deeper to feel like, okay, what's really coming, what's really happening. So I think for me, that inner safety, it was not there for a very long time. And when we don't have that inner safety, we can actually be in a flight, fight, freeze, or fawn behavioral patterns. So for me, these days, everything is how am I feeling within myself? And to have that inner safety, you really have to pause and to ask yourself, what is it that I'm feeling? What is
Mm.
it that I'm protecting myself from? What is it that's there holding me back? And if we don't have that inner safety to really see the truth for what it is, it's really hard to embrace bigger goals, higher goals, embrace, whatever you want in your life because you then actually get stuck.
Yeah.
And most of these behavioral patterns or trauma related patterns, they are not coming from safety within.
Mm.
They are
Mm.
actually coming from dysregulation. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you. Because life is so hectic for everybody, there's always something else to do, whether it's transactional, that's where most people get stuck, right? In the transactional aspects of life from one moment to the next to this, when this interview here with you finishes, I'm sure there's something else in the schedule going to that. And then, at some point in the day, it's family stuff. And then, oh, that means that and that and that and that and that. And we often don't have that or make that time to step outside ourselves and, if you like, look in and say, I need to do some work here.
Mm.
And is there something for you in, I'll ask you this, and then I'll tell you my approach with myself. To achieve what it is that you want to achieve requires an enormous amount of training, right? And for most people, if you're like me, most of that training takes place by yourself. And
Hmm.
it's within those moments of the training, because it's hours and hours and hours and hours, that you start to look at yourself in different aspects of your life, if you like, and just with a different lens, I find. So I'm just curious as to whether there's something in that for you, and whether that has also brought you to, the bigger goal of saying, you know what, I just want to run like Forrest Gump. I'm just going to start, and I'm just going. I'm going
Mm.
to stop. I'm just curious, and then I'll tell you my thoughts.
So for me, I think again, if I go back where I came from and what I was lacking, there was not any self-worth, there was not any confidence, anything within myself. And coming back to what I do now and running, and as you said, it requires a lots of training, and sometimes the training it's by yourself. Yes, you do have a support, but I think when we actually have to do things by ourselves, they actually even become extra challenging as well. So, we usually often talk about being disciplined. And I think we all know what we need to do to get where we want. But one thing that is missing in there is again coming back to that regulation, inner safety. So I can be saying like, okay, I can actually be disciplined and get up every morning, but I would actually feel I'm actually pushing through. For me, I don't like to push through. I like to find the moments to enjoy, because if we are
Mm,
pushing through something that we really don't enjoy, well, we're actually going to cause ourselves a lots of harm.
mm,
Like 3 marathons, they do actually require lots of training. For this month, it's actually maybe the lowest month of running kilometers that I set for myself. It's even under 100 to it's under 200 kilometers for this month, but that is the lowest. So for me to get up and go, it has to have some meaning. So
yeah.
how I actually give myself something, it's okay, what is the meaning of this?
Hmm.
What is this actually doing for me? What is my big why? What is my purpose in this?
Yeah.
How is this benefiting myself? How is this going to benefit others? So it's not about all about myself. So if I know that my running for me, it's doing many things as we just mentioned before, and plus on that I'm actually, meditating. That's my time. That's my emotions. How am I going to speak to my? That's actually a great opportunity for me to see, can I actually turn that negative dialogue into my positive? And it's easier to do it while running because I already have shown up.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't actually have that, speed that I want, but I already have shown up. So again, coming back to the building the confidence, confidence is built on self-trust. You have to be trustworthy to yourself. I have shown up. I'm actually demonstrating something, little small bits of kilometers on a daily basis that I can move forward. So I think I'm actually giving like maybe a lot in here, but for me, it's really coming back to my why,
Yeah.
coming back to many other little things. It's not pushing through. In fact, whatever I do, I avoid actually pushing through just to show up. There is a reason for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. For me, like I've been training for 38 years now, and it's absolutely comes down to the why, because it's hard on some days to turn up and do the work when you know you're going to do it.
Mm.
But I now have it's exactly 50, not because it's the right number. It's just because that's just how it worked out. But I have 50 reasons written down as to why I do what I do, why I do my strength training, why I eat the way that I do, why I get out and walk and every day, and why I do that. And it's beyond me as well,
Mhm.
because it is absolutely, I'm doing it for me first. And this is a really important message that I'll say on behalf of Women from a Man, but I'm sure you can agree with it. This is a big problem for women to put themselves first. And you've got to
Mhm.
realize that, well, you've got to make you better first before you can be, adding value to the children, anyone else in your life. But it's so big for me
Yeah,
that the possibility of stopping is just, it's not in my vocabulary. It couldn't happen.
absolutely.
And yet
Yeah.
like I often have people that will come and start with me coaching, and at some point they stop. And as soon as I meet them, I say, so tell me why this is really important to you. And
Mm.
it's paper thin. I said, okay, well, that's going to get you started, but we've got to keep building on that. And I explained that I've got 50 reasons, and this is why. Because if you're really in tune with your various whys, you would never ever stop,
Absolutely.
because it's yours. It's not my goal. I don't
Yeah,
want to run 4 marathons. Like, I can't run. It's not good for the reason that I walk is my why is I want to be pain free, and running is too hard on my joints. So
absolutely.
I don't
And
do
do
that.
what you can. Do what you can. I hear from many women that they'll say like, "Oh, Billy, my knees, they're giving up," but I keep walking. Great. Do what you can.
Just walk.
Absolutely. And I actually just wanted to share something. You said like you're doing it for yourself. I'm doing it now for myself. When I started this journey, I wasn't. So I
Mm,
also see a lots of, women and men like when they come to me, they say, like, Billy, there is no reason, like, there is like, why will I be doing this? So when you say like do it for yourself, it feels like empty to them. So when I started, I was in survival mode for many, many years, and I was single
mm,
mom at the time. And when I started for my child.
mm.
Well, that was in my thinking. I'm doing this for my child. However, in the process,
You
I
discovered
have
yourself.
realized, okay, this is actually about me, because if I'm doing for my child, it's for her mom to be better mom, better person, better human.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
start if somebody's listening to this and they think, oh, well, I don't want to do it for myself. Who else can you do it for? For
Mm,
moms, of course, it's going to be their beautiful children. For dads as well, find something, someone, what for, and before you know, it is going to be about you.
mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so true. Because when I started, I was eight. How old was I? I was 19, about to turn 20. I didn't go into a gym and think I'm going to be healthy. I just wanted to get big muscles and look good. That's what I wanted to do.
That's it.
But over time, and I don't know exactly when this happened, but over my journey, and I don't know, maybe I was 5, 7, maybe even 10 years in, when I realized the reason that I started training was because somebody threatened to kill me, and I had no self-confidence, and
Yeah.
I wasn't I'm a little guy. I wasn't strong. I thought, well, I don't know how to fight back or do any of that stuff. But all those years later, I realized the reason that I got started actually had nothing to do with any of that. And it was more about my own self-esteem and self-confidence and that kind of stuff. And then
Hmm.
where we are now, I'm in a different phase of life. And health is a very, very important part of it, has been for quite some time now. But I also, in my definition of health, which is quite big, my one of my main focuses is energy,
Yeah.
making sure that I've got a lot of energy. And with that comes the focus and then the work ethic. And you think, well, what's that got to do with health? Well, for me, it is. It's in my definition because I've got so much impact that I want to have. So if I'm, not focused, don't have much energy, I can't do all those things, and it just remains a fantasy.
Mhm.
So I think we go through different stages and phases of life, don't we? Where it will mean different things. When I first created my why, it was big muscles, look
Yeah,
sexy.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
now that's part of the process, but it's like one out of 50.
Yeah, yeah. I hear you. I hear because when I started my fitness journey and health journey, it was a different goal. And now it's okay, even at the age that I am now, like I think, oh, all right, I really have to lift some heavy weights and everything, to build my muscles. And, because we lose so much, muscle mass after some certain age, you would know that,
Mhm.
you are pro at this. So I hear you. But if I just can say something, you did say, like, I'm a little guy, but I want to add this little guy with a beautiful big heart. I just think that was actually missing from that sentence. I just wanted to go back and to say that
Thank you.
because,
But the,
with
but
your
for
journey, with what you've done, honestly, like you are to be congratulated for, and beautiful, big, big, enormous heart, Rob.
Thank you. But see, this is maybe this is a nice segue into, what people carry around from their past, right? Because I was always, well, I'm 5'5", right? Which is, significantly below average adult. I was an easy target as a kid. I was the smallest in the school of like 600, even smaller than all the girls and everything. And every girl that I asked out till I was 23 said no. So I used to carry that around with me that it's because of my height that there's something wrong with me. People used to say there's something wrong with me. Because I was also smaller, how's this for stupidity? If only we had AI and Google back when I was a kid. I used to think that, but I struggled to learn in the old way that we were taught, which is still sort of the same way, but we've just got other tools now. You sit there and the teacher talks to you. You either understood it in the class or you understood it from the text, and that was it. You didn't go and see the teachers, nothing, right? And because, those moments where the teacher's talking and everybody's writing everything down, and you're kind of like, why is everybody writing stuff down? Because it seems like they get it, and I'm the only person in the class that
Yes.
doesn't understand this. So I used to think that because I was small, I had a smaller brain than everybody else as well. And so that's why I didn't understand things as well as everybody else. The reality is, I just learn a different way. And I just couldn't understand in the way that many things were being taught. And it would be up to some of the teachers, and those teachers that I did connect with. It's like, oh, I get it. And then I do very well there. But then what I did was I carried around as oh, what would you call it? A cross to bear, if you like, for decades that I wasn't good enough because I was short. And now, of course, it doesn't play any part because I know the impact that I have and the value that I bring, the man that I am, and the humanity that I bring
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
who I am as well, which has only come about from me processing all that stuff
Yeah.
to bring me to where I am now. But I come back to, well, what's my foundation? It's my health and my wellness, and this is how I coach all my clients. We've got to get that right. Otherwise, I think about it like a house. If you're just going to put bricks in the dirt with a poor foundation, it'll last for a bit, but it's going to come down. We want to build the sort of foundation where it's, oh, Billy, you want a two-story house? Great. Oh, okay. John, you want a 50-story house? All right, fine. Your
Yeah.
foundation just needs to be a bit stronger.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? The trauma, if you like, that we bring from
Mm.
our deep past, and I'm sure you see this too. But I think if we put a loop around what we're talking about here, you've set yourself a really great goal this year, and you didn't start with that as being, oh, here's a great idea, I'm going to do this. You started down here, and then over the years, you've built this what it is that you're able to achieve. And through that process, you've addressed a whole bunch of things in your past and in your mindset to be able to get to that point to have that
Mhm.
confidence. But I talk with clients that are just too scared to, oh, yeah, this is what I'd like to do, but can I just stay over here?
Yes. Yeah. I hear
Because
you.
I just want to be back here and just
Yeah.
that's a great idea, Billy. Yeah, I'll do that, but
Mm. Yeah.
rather than come right in and say, hey, I'm going to do this because I know my why.
Yeah.
How do
You,
we get people to get to that point when we talk about self-trust? Because It is, right? You've got to trust, believe in yourself. And my belief is I can do anything. If I
Yeah.
put my mind to it, I know I will do it. With just as a quick one, I know that not everybody loves the changes to the social media laws. Live Story has been a huge part of that with the Prime Minister. I've met with him 3 times now. And I just knew when I was approached from the 36 months team to be part of this, I just told them this recently, actually. I said, I knew that it was going to turn into law
Yeah.
because I know who I am.
Yeah.
I know the impact that I can have.
Yeah.
And it happened just far quicker than we thought it would. But
Yeah.
it happened. But I never for a moment thought it wasn't going to.
Yeah.
I,
And I love what you just said. I knew it is going to happen. So sometimes, and that also comes with self-trust because you knew when we know that something is going to happen, what happens subconsciously, we are starting to show up that way,
Mhm.
not with the doubts or fears, like, oh, I'm not quite sure. And then we are behaving that way. So you actually had that foundation. But if we go back, where you felt like, you are, you know, differently built to learn differently and things like that. Many people, we all actually do have our stories, protective stories that I like to call them. And
Mm,
where to start, where to start transformational journey, where to start any journey is with the truth.
mm. Requires vulnerability, doesn't it?
It does, absolutely it does, but you have to be true to what's going on. You have to be honest with yourself, not the idea of honesty or the truth. It's
Mm,
to see the truth for itself. And I think this is where many people start denying some certain things or avoiding some certain things because we already feel not good enough and not deserving.
yeah.
So we
It's,
actually
it's
like to make.
self-preservation, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And we are actually fearful to see the truth as it is. When I started my transformational journey, I had to be honest with myself.
Mm,
I had to be honest how I was really feeling. It's not,
yeah.
"Hey, yeah, yeah, I'm actually good. I am good," but I was not. So I think the first step to anything, any transformational journey, anywhere, like in life, is the truth.
Yeah.
Be true to yourself, not the idea. I also see many people, in relationships, like, when they where they are unhappy, but they'll tell one story and soon after they'll actually start justifying because there is again that fear. And again, we are moving to what's familiar. We actually learned some certain patterns, some certain behaviors, they are actually familiar, so we'll go back to it. But, starting with the truth, what really this is. When I actually sat down in front of my coaches, in front of my team of helping me, my support, therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, everybody I had around me, because it was really low point in my life. Low
Mm,
point in my life, I really had to say the truth, how I really was feeling, what was really going on. I also had to go into some certain parts of my life where we also avoid. And again,
mm,
going back to what we just spoke earlier, our why. Our why. At that moment, maybe you won't actually see your why as so significant, but we need to have the why there for ourselves. And many people will sort of mask it over. It's no big thing. It's no big deal. I haven't gone through any traumas, and there is a visible trauma and non-visible trauma. And I like to sort of say it's like, things. This is how I classified, and now this is not really coming from me. This has been repeated and repeated throughout centuries, and I have been taught this, and now I'm actually sharing with others as well. Two types of traumas: things that shouldn't have happened to us, but they have happened, and things that should happen, things that should have happened but never did, and
mhm,
things that shouldn't happen but they did. So things that shouldn't have ever happened, they are major traumatic events. The abuse, the death, shooting, and everything. If I actually go by my story, those things that shouldn't ever happened, but they
yeah.
have, and that's where, some certain patterns, protective patterns, they do come. We actually give the meaning to the event. and another things that we did not receive, but we should have. This is where majority of people they feel like, oh, I've got everything perfect, lived through best beautiful lives, but these are the things that the love hasn't been given to us as a
Yeah.
kids, the safety, the praising, the encouragement.
Yeah.
So I think we also have to be very true with ourselves, what we have received, what we haven't, and how that actually impacted us, and the things what really had happened but never should have happened.
Yeah. Great points. What do you think the impact of identity is here? Because I find that some people get stuck because of the identity that they have
Mm,
for themselves. And so if I use,
abs-
for example, um, let's say it is a relationship, and the perception from the outside is that you're the mum, you're the dad, whatever. You do this for all of these people. You show up to work this way. You do this, you do that. And I know, like when I got divorced, like I don't know how long ago was it? It's like 13 years ago, something like that, 14 years ago.
mm,
And the way that you then get treated because you're a divorced man, so it must be your fault.
yeah.
And the amount of, because my girls were still at primary school, the amount of car park gossip from mums about me. And it's like, you know what? I'll just stay in the car.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be part of that. And then how you show up at work. Oh, okay, you're divorced, or you're this, or you're that. How you're then treated amongst the family.
Mm.
And so um, um, I don't like, there's got to be a nicer word. I don't like saying the word ex-wife. It sounds horrible because we get on really well together. So I normally say, M, my eldest daughter, her mum. I normally say M's mum.
If you find some better title, please share with me, because
Yeah.
I was like, oh, my ex-husband. It's not husband, it's husbands. So
Yeah. Um, and the way that, various parts of her family treated me was, really isolating, and others were, still quite fine. And so it comes back to with your identity that you had is now
mm,
very different. Now, I just made the decision that I didn't want to be in a situation where I wasn't showing up as the best version of me, or going to, go on and be able to do all the wonderful things that I thought I was capable of doing. She just lives like 750 meters away from me. We get on very well together,
yeah,
but it just wasn't, what the life that I was after. But I made that hard decision. It took about 6.5 years to say, yeah, no, it's time for us. We've tried it, and
mm,
it's not going to work. But I see so many people get stuck in making that big step because it means their identity is going to change.
yeah,
No longer reliable Billy that's always there for, blah, blah, blah. Oh, now Billy's not there, is that?
yeah. But
Oh, well,
here's the thing. I always find, like, what is the definition of identity, my identity? So I think if we are clear with definition what identity, my identity means to me, then it's easier to go through life's journey. So people will always have opinions, and people somehow they will try to change your identity. But it's again coming back to yourself, what really identity is to you. For me, like everything after I am, it actually creates me. So yes, like, I went through divorce, I went through many, many things in my life, to like my business from here to down, and it has the waves, but my identity can still remain, that I'm trustworthy, that I'm committed, that I'm yeah, that I'll do my best, that I'm actually this person that went through so many things. I will show up again. I will do my best.
mm,
So it's also like, what is my identity? If anyone is going through some crisis in life, and people are just really putting their own thoughts and putting their perception on you, it's like you really have to stop and like hone in what is your identity to you, what is your own definition.
And then
If
that requires the confidence and self-trust too, doesn't it? Because
absolutely,
you're going to have people out there that, and this is where people get stuck, I think, is, well, I care what Billy thinks, and she's going to think this, and therefore that's going to be upsetting, and this is going to happen over here. So therefore, uh, I'll
yeah.
just stay where I am.
It is like for you to decide your identity. And when it comes to identity, we also can really crush our identity because identity shift comes from the shame. If we shame will always say what's wrong with me. Shame always says what is wrong with me.
Hmm.
So if we are really receiving everything from the outside world, how is it working for you? It's not. So you have to come with your own identity and work on your identity to build again that self-trust, to build that
Yeah.
resilience, to go through life's journey. And um, I actually had a fear of what will people say, but then I also asked myself what is actually costing me not to stand in my own truth.
Yeah.
What people always have something to say, and they have their own reasons why they're saying. And I
Yeah.
also have my opinion about the people that they, just keep talking and saying. We are all uniquely beautiful. We are all uniquely beautiful and we have our gifts in a different way. Sometimes, if we don't like about somebody, we can actually separate it by behavior. So, this is again where we can sort of find the way to overcome some certain things, to go into, forgiveness. And that's another chapter, but it's, separate behavior from people as well. So there is so many things that I don't want to confuse, but it's like, what is your identity for yourself? What comes after that I am?
I do think it's a life journey as well, because it wasn't like, 30 years ago, I said, this is my identity from this day forward, etc., etc. I think fundamentally, some of those foundational things are still there that were 30 years ago.
Hmm.
So still big focus on my health and wellness and stuff. But I think a part of it is also just age, wisdom. You have different experiences and you realize that actually, I want to spend less time over here with this type of person, these types of behaviors, etc. And I want to spend more time over here because this makes me feel better. I feel like I'm
Absolutely.
adding more value. I'm a better
And sometimes
human.
people, they actually get enough of some certain things and finally they just break through. Okay, I just want to do Billy. I just want to be me and that's it.
Mm,
Because you actually, in the process of listening to everybody, you actually start feeling exhausted. It's not doing you any good. So as you said, like through life's journey, through our own wisdom as well, we also attach our identity to what we do as well. Oh, but I'm life strategist, but I'm accountant. I'm just a mom, or I'm a dad. Like what would happen if you peel off all of these labels?
yeah.
What is then there? That's where your identity is. Who are you without
Mm.
everything external?
I do think this is like, I'm very passionate about women and the challenges, the unique challenges that women face that men don't. And there's just so much more pressure on women. And I see what happens is there's a household decision, and not everybody's like this, but it's like obviously the woman has to have physically the children, and then whatever the decisions are around that. Well, how long do you stay at home? Like when I was brought up, mum wasn't allowed to work. Dad
Mm,
wasn't allowed to marry mum in the 1960 or whatever if she still had to work. That was
yeah,
just
yeah.
what the way it was back then. Now, if both parents aren't working, most people can't survive, particularly here in Melbourne because real estate
Oh,
and
yeah.
cost of living is so expensive. But then I see what happens is by the time that people say get to there, maybe it's there for it. Maybe they've said, look, I'm just going to be with the kids until they're at the school, and then it's or maybe it's high school, or then you can only have a part-time job if you want to do the school pickup, and it's the household decision. It's not a right or wrong. It's just what they decide. But then when it gets to the point where the kids are old enough and the woman has to try and re-enter her
Mhm.
career or the workforce or whatever, they're starting way back. But the
Yeah.
you know the husband or the other partner has been able to continue going on with their
Yeah.
career, but entering in at this level can be so so challenging for women, and it's not fair.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
And I'm not sure what the answer to that is. I know that it's different. I've got some young mums that I coach now, and most of them are having either 6 months or 12 months off maternity leave and then returning to, say, 3 days, but they're starting to reevaluate their whole career because it's like, well, now they've got this little child now, and it's
Yes.
like, well, no, this is the most important thing, and my career's not. But the dad's not normally thinking that.
Yes. Yeah. I think this is individual decision for
Each house.
Yes, and each person. This is not one size fits all that, you have to return back or to work and, to keep momentum going and your confidence in one way or the other way. I think this is like, honestly, you really have to start from your values as well to really know what are you valuing the most. If I actually had a chance to be with my beautiful girl for maybe a couple of first few years when she was born, I would have loved that. In fact, I was not. Soon after, actually, we were going through separation, her dad and I. So it works differently. Now, looking back on my journey, I always had to work and not sometimes one job. It actually got up like to three or four jobs to, keep going through my life with my beautiful baby girl who is now 18 and a half. I'm actually grateful for the journey as well. I'm not saying like, every woman should go and work as
Struggle.
much or to go through separation, not at all. But I think as long as you go back to your values and what is it that you really want, no doubt there is a challenge to go back afterwards to rebuild that inner confidence, calm confidence.
Yeah.
If you're looking for work or anything later on when kids sort of, they have their own journey in life. But what it's actually main key in here is not to abandon yourself in that process.
Mm.
What that means is to really take care of yourself, whatever that is. Maybe, and I know many moms will think, oh, Billy, but I don't even have time to eat, let alone to have a hobby or to take care of myself.
Mm.
Again, it comes back to your values. What is it that you're really valuing for? For me, it was always like to be that great mom for my child, to be as fit and healthy as I can be, because growing up, I was a very unhealthy child. So my values, you know, were maybe different than to some moms. So I think this is like in the individual journey for each of moms, ladies, dads, whoever, and what is it that you're valuing the most, and where do you see yourself in 10, 15, 30 years time as well. So
Mm.
just to have again some type of foundation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. We could
Yeah.
keep talking for hours here around this because it's so interesting. Maybe if we bring this into a landing for people, let's just say that somebody is really in struggle street right now. I know both of us probably coach people at both ends of the spectrum, right? People that are, so low, almost broken, and they want to make some progress, and those that are like absolutely crushing life, business, whatever. But or normally business perhaps, but there's an edge that's missing for them. So we do it at both ends. So let's say we're in struggle street with somebody and they want change. They're inspired by your story. Where would be that they can't do anything big?
Mm-hmm.
It's just too big for them. What would be, say, if they could do one thing today to focus on themselves and making progress, what would you say that would be for them?
I think that we already touched on this early on. So if anyone is going through challenges, it's to really stop and pause and to really acknowledge what's really going on, what's really happening right now. We can stop and pause and to just like, okay, this is what's really going on, without masking, without denial, without justifying, without making excuses. And I think, like, saying yes to yourself, cheering yourself. And, many people, they feel like, yeah, I'm broken, I'm this, I'm that. And we again give ourselves some terrible labels.
Yeah.
And they're not true. I'm going to say it right now in here. Those labels, those patterns, they are not who we are. They are not bad habits either. They are just patterns of our life that at some stage it helped us to survive. And we have to recognize right now that we are in different position. We are not in the childhood any longer. We are now adults, and there's nothing wrong with us. We have been just patterned for survival. We can change it. And starting off, honestly, as I said, like, to cheer yourself, just say yes to yourself, and this is what's really happening right now.
Mm.
So acknowledgement, um, and awareness, because without that, we cannot change anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really well said. I liken it to where you really need to get the mirror out, and it's like you need to face all the things, having that awareness of, well, what's really going on. You don't have to tell anyone, but just be 100% honest with yourself,
Yeah.
because you've probably been masking it for so long, and it's time to get it all out. And look, for most people, it's really, really messy. There's not one thing. It's like, oh, well, if I just, did this one thing, it will be fine. It's complex.
Yeah.
But they're all intertwined. It's a big mess. So
Yeah.
pick one area and just start with that and be consistent with it.
Paper takes everything.
Hmm.
As you said, you don't have to share, but you know, paper takes everything. And
Yeah,
these are,
yeah,
some of my, stories. People think, oh, Billy, you've got everything figured it out. Far from that. That
yeah.
is not true. That is not true. Uh,
We're constant works in progress, though, aren't we?
Absolutely. And we are on different levels as well. And I really dislike to say this, but no one has yet figured it out. I think we are all in the progress of some certain transformation. We are all on different levels.
Hmm.
We all have some type of traumas, whether we like to hear that or not. So it's very important to really see the truth for what it is, and to, yeah, and even now, like, whoever is listening to this and they really want that sort of tiny bit, like a micro step into the next chapter, just, keep asking what is the truth, like, because you are going to, if you're really, again, just, scared to confront the truth, keep asking, like, you will actually get there. You will get there, because when we say something that we are looking for, subconsciously we are going to look for the truth. What is the really truth? What is the truth? And of course, I would always encourage also my beautiful humans that I work with, seek professional support.
Yeah.
Seek professional support. Many people, they do come to me, but I'm a life strategist. I share what I know, the knowledge, the level of knowledge that I do know, the transformation that I have gone through. I have still people working with me, so that's, part of my journey. That's how I chose for myself. But seek professional support if needed. Um, but, we deserve better. We have been just patterned. There is a deep imprints from our inner child. Those patterns have been protecting us. No longer they actually serve us. We can serve us. So now we can change them and just create the new chapter of our life.
Beautifully closed. Well done. Billy, if people, I'll put the link below, but if people want to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
Absolutely. Through social media, maybe is the easiest. Billy Boss on Instagram as well, and I know you're actually putting those links as well. But if people are actually feeling that they would actually like to send me a message, absolutely, on Billy Boss website, there is space for, contact Billy. Even if they actually go to Billy Boss Show as well, in every show notes we do have links, ask Billy anything as well. So there is many ways to get in touch. It's very important to know I'm not a VIP, so you can really get straight through to me, and you can speak to me. So there is no 10 people that you have to go through. So yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for today. We always have a great conversation, and be sure to go and listen to Billy's podcast as well. It's a great show, great guests, great conversation, great thoughts. So, always love hearing about how you're going, and we'll have to check in again when you. What date is your first full marathon?
May, oh, first full, it's in August. August, that's Sydney
August.
one. So
Okay.
yeah, May is the half
Oh,
one. That's
Sydney, did
Adelaide.
you say?
Yeah, Sydney is in
Is that the
August.
city? Is that the city to surf, or is that not a full
Yes, I
marathon?
think so.
Okay.
I think my
Well,
mission
that's
was just to run through
televised.
over that bridge. So that's like, so yeah, Sydney is in August. Um, ooh, July is Gold Coast, October is in Melbourne, and we start off in May in Adelaide. So yeah.
No, oh, so now I'm understanding why your why, so you can travel. All right. See you next time,
Yes.
Billy. Thanks so much for today.
Thank you. Bye.